This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules. And no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Hey there, Duke fans. Episode 105 of DBR Bites. We're going to be quick. We already got into this a little bit with the episode on Monday, but we are here to talk about the commitment that has happened in just the past hour or so of Damasar. By the way, I think I mispronounced his name on the last episode. It's Dama. That is how his name is properly pronounced. And I want to get it right because he is now officially a member of the Brotherhood. In fact, they even released a Brotherhood podcast interview with him, which says that even though he committed today while he was on campus, Duke knew that he had committed. He sat down with Emmanuel Dildy for an interview. I think that's an indication that they knew that this kid was going to pick Duke. This is huge news. I'm Jason Evans. I'm joined by Donald Wine. Big enough news that we've also brought on Scott Rich. Guys, how you doing today? Donald, you go first. What's new in your world?
Fratelli d'Italia, Italia se resta. You got to start learning the Italian national anthem, ladies and gentlemen. We got an Italian in the midst.
I love it. By the way, in the interview on the Brotherhood podcast, they mentioned that they had an interpreter on campus because even though I'm trying on his name. I'm having trouble. Dama, even though Dama speaks English, his family does not. And so they had an interpreter so those folks could understand what's going on. Scott Rich is with us as well. Scott, how are you, my friend?
I'm not so sure how welcome I am here, since the last I heard my name on this podcast, I was getting thrown under the bus by one Jason Evans for misspeaking Cedric Coward's name. Who knows? Maybe I scared him away. Maybe you guys can all blame me if and when that becomes final. But I was thinking I did a nice job pitching in while Jason was gallivanting around the world. And as thanks, he throws me under the bus for my one slip up. I'm very happy to be back with you guys.
Well, look, I can hardly criticize you when I'm struggling so much to say Dama. So.
In this one, we got all year to do.
Yeah, exactly. In any event, the Blue Devils welcome Damasar to the Brotherhood, and we're super excited about this. We already spoke extensively on the previous podcast about his game and all the things he brings to the table. So, guys, let's just really quickly, and Donald, I'll hit you first. What is the overall takeaway here? And by the way, I'll preface by saying, even though there's nothing official, the fact that Duke has landed Sarr is a clear indication that Cedric Coward, Scott, you don't need to worry about mispronouncing his name. He's probably not going to be. He's not probably. I'm telling you, there isn't room for both of them at Duke, and this is an indication that Jon Scheyer's pivoted to his backup plan. And wow, what a backup plan it is!
Yeah, I mean that Jon Scheyer guy. I can see the vision with him. He might be a good recruiter one day, huh? He's got that je ne sais quoi that you crave. But Jason, when we were talking about
how do you say je ne sais quoi in Italian?
I don't know. I think it's je ne sais quoi. I think it's universal. I just said it in English, not French. But when we were talking about Barca the other day, which Dama played for, I forgot this link. Sarr played this season with Jabari Parker, who was on that team.
Yes.
So again, shout out the Brotherhood for just helping add another one. And I'm very excited to have him in the midst. Again, we've talked about some of the things that he does, some of the things that he doesn't do, and what we'll see from him. But again, that defensive prowess is going to be the focal point. And we can add some of the other elements to his game, but the fact that he is a 6'8" wing that has 7'1" stretchability, go gadget defense. I think this is going to be a great addition to the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys broke his game down brilliantly last time, so I won't retread any of that. But I think we do need to emphasize the fact that this is Jon Scheyer's plan B is just extraordinary recruiting. The fact that this guy, by all accounts, was getting ready to commit to Kansas when it looked like Cedric Coward, I said it right, I will say it right the rest of this episode, was coming to Duke. By all accounts, he was, crossing the finish line with Kansas. And Jon Scheyer just said, wait, actually, we've got a spot for you. And within the span of about a week, locked it down. If that doesn't tell you how great of a recruiter Jon Scheyer is and how desirable it is to go to Duke under Jon Scheyer, Duke is in such great position moving forward because Duke can get who they want when they want it. Let's honestly think about, when is the last time there's been a guy that by all accounts Jon Scheyer was all in on that didn't end up at Duke? Yes, there are recruits that we have offered that we missed, but honestly, the only one I can think of is Ernest Uday, who was a transfer, and that was obviously more of an academic issue.
Yeah, and that's not.
And
the
so you can't
thing.
put that exactly, but that just goes to the point. Jon Scheyer is seemingly getting to pick the pieces he wants to put his team together. He loses 1-6-7 wing, he grabs another one. These guys don't grow on trees, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, there are differences in their games. Yes, Dama is much younger than Cedric and doesn't have the experience in the U.S. But 6'7" wings that profile as potentially plus shooters and definitely plus defenders do not grow on trees, but Jon Scheyer's picking them like they certainly do.
Jon Scheyer operates from the same ilk as NFL teams. During NFL free agency, it was a big deal when someone says, hey, this guy is coming to visit the Detroit Lions or the Chicago Bears or the Dallas Cowboys, because the theory was those teams are like, if he leaves to go somewhere else, then he's not signing with them. But most guys got that commitment before those players left. That's kind of what he's doing when they kind of visit campus. It's almost like you're like, well, it's over. He's visiting campus because they're not leaving without a commitment. And sure enough, in the case of Cedric Coward and now Damasar, Jon Scheyer once again has said, hey, when you leave, you're leaving as a Blue Devil. You came as a guy looking to see where you want to go to school. You're leaving as a member of the Brotherhood. And I think that's awesome.
Scott, I think, you talked about Jon Scheyer is the man in recruiting now. I don't know how you come to any other conclusion. Over the past few years, you could sort of, John Calipari, certainly Bill Self at Kansas. You go, these guys can challenge Jon Scheyer. I don't know how you can possibly say that now. With the situation with Sarr, where he went to Kansas, they wanted him desperately. They had opportunity for him. And like you say, literally, Scheyer called up and said, hang on just 1 second, kid. and suddenly he's in Durham. If you're crushing Bill Self, then what's your competition? There isn't any.
The Duke and Kansas opportunities are not apples to apples. By all accounts, Damasar would have gone to Kansas as probably the number 2 option on that team, alongside Darren Peterson or Patterson, I forget which, their 5-star top of the draft shooting guard. Damasar is coming to Duke to probably be the 3rd option behind Cam Boozer and behind Isaiah Evans. Yes, he's going to start. He's going to play a hell of a lot of minutes.
Wait. I'm going to tell you, I don't know about that. It's there are too many young guys that have potential for me to say who the number. Cedric Howard was going to be the number 2 option. He's experienced enough. There's enough that we know about him that I think he was a sure thing to be the number 2 option behind Cam Boozer. I'm not sure where it falls. I'll tell you this. There's a scenario where Patrick Gongba is the number 2 option on this team.
The competition is going to be there. That's the great part.
Yeah, exactly.
Even that, right?
Well, I was going to say the story is, frankly, the difference in the number 2 and like the number 6 or 7 option is like paper thin.
And he's got to compete for that at Duke. Whereas Kansas's roster does not look like a typical Kansas roster at this point. Damasar would have walked into being that number 2, maybe number 3 option on that team. So there is a little bit of something where he came to Duke to compete. Where if he wanted to just go and get his numbers, he could have gone and done so on ESPN every day at Kansas. He came to Duke to work under Jon Scheyer and earn that role.
Yeah, hey, guys, you know what? We could keep on going about this for a while. It is huge news for Duke and a really significant part of what's going to be, I think, a very special Duke team that once again is going to have multiple lottery picks on it and is going to be in the preseason top 5. And everyone's going to say is one of the, if not the most talented teams in the land. Jon Scheyer roster construction, no problem at all. We're going to take a quick break. This is a DBR Bites. We don't get a lot of time. We're going to come back on the other side. There's some scheduling news. Jon Scheyer taking all the smoke. He is ready for anything. Duke may have the most difficult non-conference schedule we've ever seen from them. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. The meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, and most importantly, they fill you up and they're delicious.
Yeah, and you know, this is the perfect time of year to get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss.
It's time to get started at factormeals.com/DukeBB50off and use that code DukeBB50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code DukeBB50off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
Not all EVs are created equal. The Ioniq 9 sets a new standard. Hyundai's first all-electric EV with 3 rows. Space in an EV. Finally. Plus, with over 300 miles of range, ultra-fast charging capability, and tech infused with safety features, this isn't just space. It's freedom reimagined. More room, more possibilities. Learn more about the Ioniq 9 at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Walmart Business is in the business of saving you time, money, and hassle. Whether your business started in a garage or is a garage, Walmart Business has the tools to help you get where you're going. Tools like free shipping, multi-user accounts, and just about any item your company needs.
Even a double filtration cyclone dust collector.
Yep, even that.
Sweet.
Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love. Now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com. Terms apply.
Guys, we're back from the break, and it has been announced, and frankly, this announcement shocked me. Duke is going to play Texas Tech in Madison Square Garden on Saturday, December 20th. I thought the non-conference schedule, at least in terms of big-time games, power conference teams expected to be ranked, I thought that we were all done, and then we get this announcement. This is the 7th major conference team on Duke's schedule, non-conference, for next year. It's incredible. And I think that perhaps this is a sign that Jon Scheyer is like, I'm sick of the ACC sucking, and everyone's saying we don't have enough, quad A, quad 1 games because we're playing in the ACC and the ACC isn't providing them. But man, I looked really quick. Sorry. I looked last year of all the top power conference teams. Only one of them, only Alabama, played 7 other power conference teams. Duke is going to have 7 other power conference teams. And unlike Alabama, literally every single one of these teams projects as a tournament team. Heck, I think every single one of them might project as like top 30. Is Texas maybe? It is truly impressive.
I just want to bring you guys back to December 20th, 2018, when we also played Texas Tech, also at Madison Square Garden. So game. 7 years to the date. Great date. That was a 69-58 victory for the Blue Devils back then during the R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson years. But I just want to say this. We've scheduled Texas. We've scheduled Texas Tech now. We have Michigan. We have Michigan State. I'm waiting for us to schedule Kansas State, Arkansas State, Indiana.
Just claim all the state championships around the country.
Exactly. We have Western Carolina, so we get the Carolinas set, right?
We're getting the North Carolina championship again. That's for damn well sure.
Yeah. We have Army, so I guess we need Navy and Air Force. Maybe those are our last 2 games that we schedule, is the other 2 service academies. But this is a loaded schedule. I'm very excited. Very quickly, I would just say this could be one of the strongest non-conference schedules we ever had. The fact that we're doing it without a multi-team event makes it even the more impressive because of the creativity that's required to schedule games like this.
The interesting thing about this is you can really easily draw parallels between what Jon Scheyer is doing with his schedule and what Gonzaga has had to do with their schedule over
I said this, yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But even that parallel sort of dries up when you realize we're not just scheduling the mid-tier power conference teams that are Q2-ish games that replace those games that Gonzaga doesn't get in the West Coast Conference. Like you said, Jason, every one of these teams will probably be ranked in the preseason top 25. Michigan could end up being a top 5 team. Texas Tech looks like a preseason top 10 team. Arkansas looks like a preseason top 10 team. These are Q1A, not just Q1, not just Q2 games. He is not just backfilling the weak ACC. He is saying, I'm scheduling games that I think my team can win. If Jon Scheyer only schedules these games, if he thinks his team is going to be competing for a number 1 seed in the tournament and his resume needs to look accordingly, if he thought this was just going to be a good, not great Duke team, we might see Texas A&M instead of Texas Tech, right? We might see those middle of the road P5 schools instead of teams that if we win, are marquee number 1 seed type wins.
Well, and we still don't know who Duke's going to play in the ACC SEC Challenge. I really think Florida or Alabama, to me, are the 2 teams that make the most sense, and the 2 teams I think you're pretty likely to see Duke face off against. One interesting thing is that it's very possible, I think now, that Duke sort of knows that they're going to play whoever it is in the ACC SEC Challenge at home. I think they may have already gotten that indication because even though we played at home last year, we're allowed to play at home again this year. There are just so many neutral and road games for Duke this year. I think you've got to reward the season ticket holders a little bit, give them at least one marquee game in Cameron this year. And at the moment there isn't one. So I'm thinking that ACC SEC challenge may be the one. Guys, we've got to wrap up. I got to get moving. It's my fault. We could probably talk for another 15 minutes. Anything else? Final parting thought really quick before we go?
We have the Wilkins announcement tomorrow. So
we do. Sebastian Wilkins tomorrow at this time, approximately 4:00 tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be back at some point. It's the weekend, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Enjoy yourself. Get some barbecue in. We'll talk about him potentially after that.
Yep. That's what we got coming up at you. I'm Jason. He's Scott. He's Donald. Sorry to have to run. Damasar. Not Damasar. God. Oh, I always say it wrong. Damasar. Welcome to Duke. Here's the Duke Band.